Welcome to the fourth iteration of our journey to Hogwarts. We're making our way through all of the Harry Potter movies. This week we got Animation Overload. How you doing, Animation?
Pretty good. How you?
Doing good. We also got Bill McCushton, right? McCushton?
Yeah.
McCushton. And yeah, McCushton will be our resident expert on the Harry Potter movie. I'll do my best. I'll guide us, and Animation will obviously be doing what he does every week, making some cool arts. Let's see. We'll do it this way. How's that sound? So yeah, guys.
I mean drawing.
Yeah.
And of course, Animation sending me messages in the private chat as I'm trying to make sure my phone is stable.
This gargle worm salt. Oh, yeah. Gargle worm salt.
This is personal. Let's keep it in the private chat.
It says here, say 3 Hail Marys and, anyway. So anyway, Harry Potter 4. We return to Hogwarts to steal the Goblet of Fire this week. Kahuna will not be joining us, but we may see him in the chat. Yeah, before we get started, Animation, how you doing? How's your week been?
Pretty good. Work sucked, but other than that.
Oh yeah. So just typical work. Just working.
Yeah, just like it, economy's been down. So.
Oh yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
Everyone's feeling that. What about you, Bill? How's your week been?
Oh, this and that. I'm at baseline.
Based.
Yeah.
Good.
Doing
Progress.
good.
Some debt, so that's good.
That is good. I have been just working on my album all week. Watched the new House of the Dragon, which triggered looking into some of the lore there. I think I actually am happy to say I'm pretty sure I have the whole Song of Ice and Fire mystery mostly worked out with minimal speculation. So I might do a video with Draco Knight on that later down the line at some point.
Cool.
Yeah, be really cool to do it. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive into it. So, Bill, where did the last Harry Potter movie leave off, and where does this one start? Do you remember?
I mean, the last one. Yeah, do I remember where my childhood movie leaves off at? The Harry Potter movie. I remember where it leaves off at. Yeah, I do remember where it leaves off at. We find out Sirius had been basically framed for the whole thing. Peter Pettigrew faked his death. He was the one responsible for giving away the Potter's location to Moldy Voldy.
As you do.
But everything went tits up in the end, and Sirius ended up having to go on the run because Peter Pettigrew got back into hiding. And because he's an animagus that can turn into a rat. Kind of hard to find a rat in the dark forest.
Is this the movie where they introduced that kind of idea? Well, I mean, they probably always foreshadowed it since the first one, but
the animagus, I believe so.
So it was in the movies and in the books. It was first introduced at the beginning of Philosopher's Stone, because one of the first. I actually think in the first movie, the first shot.
Like McGonagall, right? She turns into a cat.
Yeah. You get the reverse.
Yeah.
Cat's sitting there on the wall.
In the movie, they don't say animagus, but in the book, I think they do.
And then, in the book, it really opens up with Vernon going about his day as all the wizards and witches are celebrating Voldemort's defeat, and then culminates in McGonagall, Dumbledore, and Hagrid meeting outside the Dursleys' house and leaving Harry on the doorstep. And again, McGonagall turns from being a cat to back into her human form, which, we find out through dialogue in both that she was spying on the Dursleys to find out what kind of people they were. Hence why she protested Dumbledore like, no, we shouldn't leave him with these people. They're the worst kind of muggles.
Yep. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
early on.
That's pretty cool. And you know, with each movie, it gets progressively more like serious. Like it seemed like there was some pretty high stakes in this one. But anyway, before we get too carried away, I'll just like summarize it. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire from 2005 is the fourth film in the series directed by Mike Noel, with a screenplay by Steve Kloves based on J.K. Rowling's book. It's 157 minutes, and it shifts the tone. Like I was just saying, it shifts the tone darker. And it's more mature territory, and Harry faces higher dangers, you know. And there's obviously the return of Voldemort himself. The main cast is like Daniel Radcliffe and the usuals, you know, Hagrid, Dumbledore. Mad-Eye Moody is Brendan Gleeson. Lord Voldemort himself is Ralph Fiennes. Fiennes. Okay, yeah, I see it. Fiennes. Robert Pattinson is in here. He's not a glowing vampire, but he's in here. Clements.
Nobody is dead.
Fair. Clements Posey is Fleur Delacour, right? Fleur Delacour. Fleur Del. Yeah.
The French names.
Yeah. Victor Crumb is Stanislav Ianevsky. And Gary Oldman is in here as Sirius Black, and Alan Rickman, of course, is Snape, and McGonagall and all the rest with the star-studded cast. But yeah, like that's what it is. It's kind of loaded with a bunch of people who went on to become crazy things. Like, you know, who do you got in here? Who was that? Robert Pattinson. And isn't there like a Doctor Who in here, or am I mistaken?
No, there's a Doctor Who in here, David Tennant.
He played the bad guy, the
Barty Crouch
Jr. Yeah, Barney Crouch Jr. That was it.
So there's a Doctor Who in here too, so you can see how even the peripheral cast probably drew in some people, you know.
Also, the actress who plays Moaning Myrtle, who comes up again in this movie. She was in an episode of Doctor Who, one of the worst episodes of Doctor Who, mind you, but she was in an episode.
Some Who crossover, huh? Nice.
See, everyone in Britain's been in Doctor Who. That's just, you know, it's just like the British show. You know?
Well, I mean, that's what you get when you have a Monster of the Week show that's been on for like 40 years.
Yeah.
Or at some point.
Wait, like Scooby-Doo?
Half the country is employed by Doctor Who.
Yeah, literally. Oh my god. So Harry Potter 4 emphasizes the Tri-Wizard Tournament, teenage drama, which when we had our watch party, Bill, I think you were mentioning the teenage drama a lot. And
the deleted scene I saw once, I think it was on, because back in the day, ABC, the TV channel ABC would have frequent Harry Potter weekends where they would marathon the movies, because it still remains one of the best family franchises out there.
Oh, for sure.
They would include deleted scenes in their marathon as well. And I remember seeing at some point a deleted scene where Snape and Karkaroff are talking during the Yule Ball, and they're busting teenagers getting a bit too close in the carriages right outside the Great Hall. Like,
yeah, as you do.
And I can't even remember what they were talking about, and I think there's a distinct possibility it may have been related to another conversation that they have at a different point in the film, when Snape accuses Harry of stealing from his ingredient stores, which, you know, in a long movie, 2 hours and 37 minutes, it's understandable if you want to cut a scene, if you think that you already have two scenes basically covering the same material.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do wish though that they would have included the.
And with the stores scene, you also get more of that hinting at what is really going on in the movie.
Yeah, that's fair. And with movies, it is nice to see those side details, but you do have to kind of keep people's attention focused on like moving the story forward. So I get it. I get it. So yeah, the rising threat of Lord Voldemort is the next thing that it focuses on, and it condenses the long book. Actually, it cuts subplots, like Winky, Ludo Bagman, more house elf. Oh, more house elf elements. So there's like a lot more stuff about house elves in the book, and
Yeah.
it expands key action sequences like the dragon task. Interestingly enough.
Real quick, this is something that I have always found amusing from the books that they cut out of the movies. Hermione's whole tirade. I can't even remember what the acronym stands for, but she starts an organization whose acronym is SPEW. Basically, it's house elf rights. Because the only
Well-
house she had met up to this point was Dobby. And we find out in the book that Dobby is an odd elf.
He's the chosen one.
Most elves, most house elves, are perfectly fine being in service to a wizarding family.
Society for the Promotion of Elvish Welfare.
There you go. And
Based.
so Hermione was basically basing her entire viewpoint of the wizarding world and the relationship between wizards and elves off of Dobby, who came from probably the worst family that could have had a house elf, the Malfoys. And
Yeah,
during that whole subplot, she's like hiding clothes to trick the Hogwarts house elves into being free because she finds out that Hogwarts has house elves.
well,
They
that's
actually
interesting.
meet the house elves in the book because Dobby invites them into the kitchen at one point, where they find out, after being freed, he started working for Hogwarts for a wage. Because again, Dobby is a weird elf. And he brought
Yeah.
Winky along with him. And what's great is, and if Kahuna was here, he could probably correct me if I'm misremembering, but if memory serves correctly, Dobby is seen by the other house elves as like, yeah, he's kind of weird, but he does good work, so we're fine with him. Winky, on the other hand, won't shut up. She keeps crying and whining and moaning about how she was set free. Like, we can't even tolerate her, but Dumbledore says we can't get rid of her.
Yeah, that's funny.
Even better, because as soon as the main trio go into the kitchen, the house elves are like all polite. They're like, "Oh, let's cook you something." Let's like completely hospitable to them. But then as the book progresses, they stop doing service for Gryffindor House specifically because Hermione keeps trying to trick them into being free. And so it's just
That's yeah.
funny
Did you say
little
she?
plot.
Did you say she like applied like she blanketedly applies her perspective on all house elves based on her interaction with Dobby, and that's it?
Yep.
People do that in real life.
Yeah, and throughout the entire subplot, Ron is continuously telling her, Hermione, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Stop
Okay. Well, that's fair.
hurting everyone.
At least J.K. Rowling like highlighted that. But yeah, it opens with a nightmare and then goes to Hogwarts right away, right? That's kind of where it starts.
Yeah, and there's another difference from the movie and the book. The book actually goes into a bit more. Because of course it does. You actually start, it continues what the second book did, which is building up and elaborating on Voldemort. Except it's focusing specifically on the Riddle family. And the strange murders of the Riddle family.
Yeah.
There was
yeah.
no murder weapon. There was no.
The riddling murders, if you will.
They were just dead, and everyone blamed the housekeeper. And it goes into like this long thing about how the housekeeper was in prison for a while, but was eventually released because they couldn't prove anything. But everyone was always suspicious that he killed the entire family. But through context clues, and by the end of the prologue, which is where you see the Muggle housekeeper get killed, you as the reader realize, oh no, Voldemort just killed his family. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And you can already get the relation because in Chamber of Secrets you get his real name, Tom Riddle.
Yes. Which kind of I just keep remembering the scene. I have a scene or two that stuck out to me. I got all the scenes in front of me here, so we can discuss some cool ones and skip some boring ones. But yeah, it just like I said, starts with the nightmare, goes to Hogwarts, and feel free to keep highlighting differences from the book that you remember. And if we don't go over those, I can look some up. We'll go over all of them. But so the tournament's announced. There's new defenses against the dark arts, right? So you can kind of see how these movies and the story kind of is just like slow rolling the world. You can tell that this whole series is kind of like it's selling you on the world itself more than the actual story, which is why the story is kind of this simplified, chosen one, light versus dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got the simplified story and then just sell the crap out of the world, right?
And that's another major difference. The movie sort of immediately, like the other schools are showing up, or students from the other schools are showing up because they only bring the seventh years from those schools or their nation's equivalent of seventh years, because those are the only age students that are allowed to legally participate in the tournament.
Yeah, you got to be a certain age. Yeah.
But in the book, several months passed. I think a third of the school year was over by the time the other schools came, because they were actually very narrow. Like it wasn't just we're bringing the seventh years with us. It was everyone who wants to give it a shot at participating, pack your bags. We're going to Scotland.
Hell yeah. And so did they mention other schools before this move, like before this point? I'm sure they had to have. I'm sure they foreshadowed everything in the first book.
I don't think so. But at the same time, it's one of those parts of the world building where you'd expect it to be obvious because not everyone's going to be able to go to Hogwarts.
Right. And there's a big world out there.
The Americas probably have their own schools. Europe would have multiple schools. Like with geography, multiple schools was inevitable, but there is a point in one of the other books where Malfoy mentions that his father was considering transferring him over to Durmstrang.
Yeah. So there's this implication then that out of all the schools, so like if Malfoy is the personification of Slytherin in a lot of ways, then there's this implication when he associates himself like that, especially from his father's perspective, like it's an ancestral family thing, that Durmstrang would then be one of the most brutal or then dark schools. If they are a dark family, then that's a dark school, right?
Well, and they lean into like a sort of military school kind of aesthetic with the Durmstrang students when they show up, because they're in almost like military uniforms, and their entrance into the hall is very much a march or a militaristic parade.
Yeah, like communism vibes, kind of.
Also, they basically made Durmstrang an all
like Russian vibe, at least in the movie.
What was that? A
very like Russian vibe, at least in the movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's based in oh crap! I'm trying to remember. I believe it was a Scandinavian country where Durmstrang is.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then I love that in the movie, basically all the Durmstrang students are boys, and all the Beauxbaton students are girls.
Yeah, that's a good little detail there.
It's not how it was in the book.
What? Really?
There was no implication of either school being a one-sex school.
Well, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on there. I like the detail because historically we have had all women's schools and military schools, which, if you think about it logically, typically would skew on heavier on the male side. So not necessarily male only, but
same time, magical schools are going to be limited.
yeah, exactly.
Because
Aren't there like 20 students at Hogwarts or something?
What? Really?
Like, there's not a lot of students at Hogwarts
I bet
when you actually crunch the numbers.
And I bet there really isn't for all the schools, to be honest.
I
Because
think
think
most
about
of
it.
them died because of Voldemort.
Well, no, it's the wizarding community. All the people there are a minority of the total human population. I think that's part of why the wizarding.
That's why they get the big grants. That's why.
Yeah.
I think that's why the magical world has been able to stay secret for so long, is because of just how small the population is.
Yeah. Yep. That and government contracts, of course. But that would explain actually why, like in like the first movie, for example, when they're doing like Quidditch lessons and stuff, like what basically it would explain the small class size, right? And then you can deduce that, there's probably a class that size at each of the schools. So like even though the world seems like it's ballooning at an alarming rate when you start compounding how many schools there must be and classes and grades and stuff like this, if it's really only one school per region, I guess that's not that crazy in the scheme of like human population on Earth, to be fair. But I feel like I guess you would get more crazy stories happening. I guess they do have their own little bustling, crazy little world going on there with like news and headlines and stuff. So, but they maybe could have leaned more into the other school stuff. How many schools are there?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll
What
ask
good
that.
are you then?
They only ever mention the 3. I know in the Fantastic Beasts movies they name drop the American school. Because
Yeah,
the first movie takes place pretty much entirely in the US of A.
and each of these schools themselves could be their own cool little mini series. So I kind of see what's going on here. She really
looked it up.
flipped
I say 11.
11 schools. I figured there would be a lot. And then just imagine 11 Hogwarts. And then you can maybe be generous and say there's one that's probably really small, right? But I'm sure they're all Hogwarts.
I bet the other ones are community colleges. Yeah.
Right.
Community.
Because there's places like, I don't know, Russia again, for example, like the far eastern portions of Russia, right across from Alaska, where there's just like very small populations. So, I mean, a good writer, I think, would say that at least one of those schools is going to be representative of, like rural, small town type school. You know what I mean? I don't know what that would represent. Probably somewhere equivalent in the world where there's no population, like a desert area, the Sahara, Sahara Hogwarts. And it makes you wonder about the magic too, how it would manifest all these ways. So it's kind of cool. Good idea. But we see dragons in this one, right?
Yes.
And not only that, it's kind of like how to train your dragon.
Was it a house worth of dragons or just?
Well, they have to steal an egg from nesting
Dude, I'm
dragons.
just thinking of like Harry Potter mixed with Game of Thrones now.
Heck yeah, dude. That's kind of what the week was. It was Harry Potter, and then I switched over to What Up, Christman?
Yeah, but Voldemort would be a Targaryen.
Yeah. We're just talking about Harry Potter.
Sweet.
How you doing?
What up, man?
Dude, I'm beat.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm so tired.
Hold on. now that Christman's here, I want to bring this up for the show. This is not
Do
an obscure piece of trivia, mind you, but so I'm sure everyone noticed the hair in the movie.
Whose hair? Harry's?
All the male students' hair in this movie.
Oh, what? What happened?
One
Oh,
brief,
it's all long?
yeah, how it's so long for everyone. No one,
Except for Victor Crumb.
yeah, except for him because he's got the military cut going
Huh.
on. The
They were trying to copy Snape. That's all it was.
no one briefed the director that the kids were told not to cut their hair so that hair and makeup could do it a certain way.
Oh, wow.
And so when they showed up like that, Mike Newell was like, I love it. We'll do this. And they were like, okay. This
Well,
is
there's
not
a
how we
certain-
were gonna do things, but okay.
There's
He
a
just
certain
left him
flair to that.
Shaggy.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a certain flair to that. It's like their natural look, right?
Like Expelliarmus Scoob.
Yeah. I thought the longer hair on Harry Potter in that movie worked well. I liked it.
It does,
Um,
because in the books it's established like his hair just magically does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which also kind of, and we'll touch on this in Order of the Phoenix, it makes Order of the Phoenix stand out a bit more. Because of how short his hair is in that one.
Yeah, it's very short. Yeah.
Compared to all the others. Like,
Well, and Jared mentioned Crumb, right? So there's also kind of like a little bit of a strategic and visual element to it. Visual storytelling. So there's like this juxtaposition. If every quote unquote Western magical school has like this longer hair look going on for this movie, as there's this convergence of cultures going on, and then the like Eastern communist ones, you know what I mean, authoritarian ones, have this shorter military cut, so there's this passive visual thing going on there. So I get it.
Yeah. Yep. I visually, I liked a lot of stuff in this film, in the fourth one. I thought the change to Karkaroff between the film and the book worked pretty well. I liked that. I liked Moody. I liked
Yeah.
Brendan Gleeson's Moody. That was so good.
He steals the show whenever he's
Yeah.
on screen, for sure.
Yep. And having
Churchill
not been,
vibes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first. See, this film is the first one. The first thing I ever remember is seeing David Tennant in. So to me, David Tennant was always this. After that was always like that like tongue flicking little backstabbing little dweeb.
dude, I love
Marty Krause Jr.
It's not in the book, but I just love the little tick he gives Crouch Jr.
Yeah, that tongue
Especially
flick.
because in the book you get that scene right after the second challenge, and Barty Crouch Sr. shows up dead.
Yeah.
We should probably have warned people there are going to be spoilers, but it's Harry Potter. Everyone's seen it, so whatever. But in the movie, great choice to actually give him some sort of visual tick that his father would recognize and realize, oh crap. They also did not elaborate in the movie on how Junior got out of Azkaban, because that was like a whole conspiracy perpetrated by his father and his dying mother
Yeah.
to basically replace him with his terminally ill mom.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing. I mean, that's just one example. Like in terms of an adaptation, like I think this film, the fourth one may be the most egregious in terms of what didn't make it to the film. Things like that, that is such a good piece of storytelling, and then to make Barty Crouch and Barty Jr. just like tertiary characters in the whole thing, like that was I feel like that was a mistake, man.
I was just telling the guys here about the spew storyline with Hermione, and I would have loved to see that in the movie just for the lulls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll,
I was being like,
pull
yeah,
up-
Dobby, he wears clothes, he gets paid, he's kind of weird, but he does a good job. Winky, on the other hand, Dumbledore says we can't get rid of her, and everyone here wants to get rid of her. She won't stop crying like a little bint.
And then she's a drunk.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I forgot that she was drinking too.
Oh yeah, she's just drunk.
We have an
half the time.
alcoholic house elf, won't stop crying, won't do any work. Can we get rid of her? At least Dobby does something.
There's some interesting symbolism going on here. There's, the Goblet of Fire itself is like destiny, fate, fire of the gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's fire in general is a recurring motif between the goblet, dragons, the dark mark, resurrection. The Triwizard Tournament itself is like a hero's journey nested within a hero's journey, nested within the overall hero's journey going on. So yeah. and by the way, that itself is symbolic of growth and trials, which one of the main themes of this movie is awkward teenage transition. Like there's the prom scene, right? For example, that's actually the next scene that we're on. But not only before we go to that or anything else here, I'll just get through just skim the symbolism here. There's the wand connection, the priory. What is it? The priory
Incantatum.
Incantatum. Yep. The shared destiny. That's like shared destiny, memory, and like the power of love. So there's like that destiny again. And who was it? You just said somebody on the bad side, like his mom helped him. Who was that?
Yeah, Barty Crouch Jr.
Yeah, just like Harry Potter's mom helped him, right? So there's this recurring theme of what it just said. What is it? Power of love. There you go. More power.
Like so paternal sacrifice or something.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then obviously the blood ritual with the resurrection, which by the way, that is the scene that sticks out to me the most. I think I'm down to talk about that. That's like life, death, corruption, cycles.
Sticks out to you the most.
I'm
not gonna fucking metal.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty fucking metal. I'm not gonna lie, they went really hard. I'm like, okay, I kind of get the satanic panic.
I can touch you.
Kind of get it. Anyway, Cedric Diggory.
Because it's weird, smoky on the back of Quirrell's head, Voldemort. Yeah, whatever, that's fine.
That's fine, yeah. But this
Voldemort, the Voldemort coming in and it's just like kill the spare.
Without spoiling anything, he's basically Aleister Crowley, and this stuff is in D&D as well.
First line out of his mouth once he steps into once he's carried into the graveyard is just kill the spare.
Kill the stag.
Dude, yeah. Dude. He's kind of biblical like that too. It's odd and unsettling, and that's part of it. So he plays a good Voldemort.
No, the other one. Oh.
Yeah. If he had a nose, I would.
And just the presence that Ralph Fiennes has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even the way he holds his wand in a weird way, it's just weird.
Yeah.
But it's on purpose. It's like this effeminate, weird way of holding a wand, like you just did, did.
And the way
It's
Crazy.
unsettling.
It's like he teacups. He's like a teacup drummer. Just a pretentious prick.
Dude,
Like, don't
the
teacup drum that
drummers.
stick, you prick.
It's like he's packing a
Yeah.
wad of dip. Dude, what the fuck? Dude, but yeah, it's unsettling though because it's so odd. It's like this odd.
Yeah.
The guy thought about it, the actor or whoever directed him. But anyway, so the fake Moody is like deception and hidden evil, which ties to Voldemort returning, right? Obviously. The pensive is like memory again. So you see memory popping up a few times. Truth and confronting the past. There's several nods to the past. Like I think most of these like stories in this middle section of the movie series are kind of like shout outs to the past. Like there's a lot of flashbacks, if I recall right, especially around Sirius Black and stuff within these movies, I think. But yeah, it keeps going. There's broader stuff too, but yeah, that's like the main ones. A lot of it is like destiny, power, and like hidden stuff.
Real quick, fake movie.
Fake Moody, yeah.
The movie beats you over the head with it. I would say, but it does it in a way that I think someone new coming into the movies probably isn't going to realize it at first.
Yeah.
Can't say I saw the movie after I read the book, because for whatever reason, the fourth one was the one that I always happened to miss. I don't know why. But
hilariously, it's the only one I ever saw.
But the movie is continuously drawing your attention to the fact that Moody keeps drinking from this one specific flask. We get all the mentions of polyjuice potion, from Myrtle seeing traces of it in the plumbing, to Snape like, yeah, I know what you kids are up to. You're stealing ingredients for this potion. I'm going to find out why. And then you've got, that one scene where Harry's in Moody's office and just you hear the screaming from the trunk, and Moody's just like, yeah, you wouldn't believe me if I told you what's in there. Like,
it's funny, yeah.
Yeah.
And that one just, as Moody's just built up as like this weird guy with all these odd.
And we lost him.
Yeah.
That part though, like, see, I wasn't caught at this point when the books being released. I wasn't caught up yet. So between the book and film, so I watched the film before I read that book, because I was still reading Prisoner of Azkaban at the time, because I didn't care what order it was in. Like I was just into the story. I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm coming in cold to Goblet of Fire. And I just thought it was really good foreshadowing. Like it didn't seem at the time like it wasn't obvious to me because I hadn't read the book. Because I was one book behind until Order of the Phoenix, and like I was caught up by the time Order of the Phoenix came out. I finished the other. I finished Prisoner of Azkaban, read Goblet, and then read Order of the Phoenix.
And to be fair, I think it's only really obvious after you've seen it, or once you know the twist. Because, like you said, it's just foreshadowing. It's another year at Hogwarts. Of course, something's going to be fucky wucky with the school, because something's fucky wucky every year.
Every year.
After
you can't have a normal year at Hogwarts. That's boring.
Yeah, on rewatch, you could see you connect all, because you can connect the breadcrumbs so much easier. Like you can see them so much easier and know where, because you know where they're going. But yeah, I'm at the time.
I cannot hear you,
thinking about
Jarrod.
that.
Right. Wait, what?
Could you could hear me, AC?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's just you, Bill.
Bill, you struggling? Oh.
Yeah, I think Bill's connection's fighting with him tonight.
Yeah, it's all right. He'll be back if it'll reconnect at some point if you can't hear us. If you can, he'll figure it out. Anyway, I have to say from a writer's perspective, I appreciate that they included like deep ones and like merfolk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not very often included, even though it's like a popular concept. It's just not very often included, and they did it in a pretty cool way. Bill, what up?
My phone continues to hate StreamYards for some reason.
It happens. Yeah, it happens. I was just saying that I liked that they included merfolk / deep ones.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have a list of the most acclaimed scenes and the most hated scenes, if you guys want to go through them. One of the most acclaimed scenes is the Yule Ball. While we were watching it, Bill was like saying stuff about the Yule Ball. He might have thoughts about that scene, I think.
Did you guys ever see the deleted scene for the
No.
Yule Ball?
No.
The one
Wait.
kids in the carriages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember where I saw it, but yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. It fills in that gap because you like between because like they're in the Great Hall. Ron makes Harry mad, and then it cuts. Then the next thing you see, like Harry's walking in from somewhere, and Hermione just blindsides and yells at him, and you don't know where. It's so jarring because you don't know where he came from or what was happening. How did they just get this separated like this? And that's where it came directly out of that scene because it's Karkaroff and Snape were talking about the Dark Mark. If I recall that correctly.
Is pretty much repeated information from or it's either repeated or gets repeated again.
It was before the one in his storeroom, in Snape's it's Snape's apothecary. It preceded that one.
You can tell why they cut it because it's like, okay, we're basically getting the same thing across twice. We have either this Yule Ball scene or this scene, which also helps foreshadow and build up the primary mystery of the movie again. Let's keep the one that builds up the mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. One of the other critically acclaimed scenes was obviously Harry versus the dragon. You know, it's the dragon. First movie of the dragon. Gotta love it. Obvious reasons. The graveyard scene. The graveyard scene with Voldemort's resurrection. Oh, yeah. We'll do that. The graveyard scene I mentioned with Voldemort's resurrection, which we can talk about in detail a little bit more later down the line. The Quidditch World Cup attack and the Dark Mark, which sets the darker tone for the rest of the series. It's the chaotic Death Eater attack on the campsite and the terrifying appearance of the Dark Mark in the sky. Yeah. Yep. Establishing that tone, right?
Yep.
Which and then
the Quidditch World Cup piece of book versus film, like I'm back and forth on that because there were so many details in the book that I thought made that sequence better, and it just the mood, tone, and atmosphere that they were able to create in the film were really, really good. So it's like you miss a lot of the Muggle stuff in the film, or all of that Muggle stuff is just gone in the film, and it's that part of it they kind of rushed through, which I thought I get it. I would have liked to seen a little bit of that played in there, and just kind of the a little bit more of the world building in terms of the bureaucracy around what it took for the Ministry of Magic to pull off the World Cup. And I don't know that it would have improved it for anything but nerds like us who like who just live to geek out over those details, you know?
Yeah, it's the best, dude. That is what it's for, dude.
Because like, oh yeah, I mean, you could just stretch that World Cup scene out another 15 minutes with all of that nerdy stuff. I'd have been like completely dialed in, but like I get it. Like normies be like, this is dumb. I don't care.
I don't know about anymore though, man.
The World Cup is Fred and George gambling and winning.
Well, like for example, in that new Night of the Seven Kingdoms show, one of the things that was being praised about, like people who geek the hell out about knights and armor and swordplay and stuff were watching it, and because they had a low budget, they had to do everything efficiently, and it actually ended up paying off very in a really weird way that's like backfiring against the other Game of Thrones show that's out there right now. That's just all spectacle. But anyway, like little details about like realistically handling a sword and purpose of armor and stuff. I feel like the world is kind of coming around to these nerdy details. And
that's cool though.
Well, right. And I feel like if you combine nerdy details with accurate, if it's accurate to the book, people are going to love it. Even if it's not necessarily their cup of tea. Like, this is a little dry, but that's in the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're probably, I think that's right. I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I love I love the in the film, like how like juxtaposed or just I guess it's like the emotional dynamic, the tone shift between like celebrating the Irish win and then the Death Eater showing up and throwing up the dark mark. Like it was such a huge tonal shift, and I thought it was so good because I hadn't read the book the first time I saw that film. I didn't see that coming. I was like, whoa, that took a turn. That escalated.
It like goes hard. It like goes pretty hard. Yeah. And that kind of like draws me back to that because like the only other like top acclaimed scene is just like the arrival of the drum string and the other schools for the spectacle. So it's like most of this is just like spectacle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, out of all the spectacle, I don't know how book accurate the graveyard scene with Voldemort actually being resurrected was. If you guys want to dive into that one next, before we get into like the criticisms, because there's just as many criticisms, obviously. We've already touched on some of them, like skipping things. But yeah, that graveyard scene, is it book accurate?
I mean, it's book. I mean, it's the details that made it to the film are mostly accurate. It's like book light. There's a lot of stuff that's not there.
I see. But like for the most part, everything it touches on, like basically all the ingredients, right? He's like tossing ingredients into the cauldron.
Yeah.
And that's all correct, right?
As far as I remember, I believe it was. I could be misremembering. It's been a while since I've read the book.
We just reread it last year, but I'm trying to remember.
I'm looking up the graveyard scene right now.
I'll get
the differences and stuff here in a second, but yeah, it's a pretty intense scene where like it's like wow, they actually went there. I don't want to say like it's just a clear ramping up of like maturity and tone, and stakes, just all of it. Like, doesn't he cut off one of his arms?
Yeah, cuts off a hand.
And as he's doing
Yeah.
all this, stuff and adding it to like the potion, he's like specifying like willingness and unwillingness for certain things.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
It's the
The hand of the servant freely given.
bone of the father,
Forceful.
unwillingly taken, the blood of the enemy forcefully taken, and the flesh of a servant willingly sacrificed.
yeah. See, and D&D has, okay, so the reason I brought up D&D before is, so what really got me circling back around to Harry Potter in my adulthood was after I played a little bit of D&D, studied more like mythology and stuff and history throughout my life, matured as a person a little bit more. In D&D, there's this idea of a lich, and once I realized that Voldemort is actually one of the few actual examples that we get to see of a lich in a pretty accurate form portrayed, like in a movie. I was like, oh wow, this is actually pretty cool. Once I actually like understood, before it just seemed like a bunch of like mumbo jumbo. But what I mean by understanding is, I pointed it out earlier, he's basically Aleister Crowley. Like J.K. Rowling didn't just like make a lot of this stuff up. Like these ideas kind of persevere throughout history. Like I mentioned Aleister Crowley because the guy essentially, just to summarize, just believed that in order to get like the attention of otherworldly entities or to gain power in some way, you basically need to go out of your way to do the most immoral, chaotic, violent, you just insert whatever adjective, all like compounding on several layers, as many layers as you can get, because then it's like even more powerful, right? In his logic. And you just do the most evil crap possible, and that just like creates powerful ripples in some way, or like feedback loops with demons or fallen gods or something. So like everything that went into that ritual is like, okay. And then we see the Epstein files recently, and it's like, okay, this is like kind of checking out in a lot of weird ways. Something that kids might not pick up on. Just saying. Yeah.
Dude, have you ever seen Dankula's Mad Lads about Aleister Crowley?
No.
Dude, you gotta watch it. It is in depth and just like his classic Dankula. So it's hilarious because he's like talking about some horribly dark, like just like horribly degenerate stuff, but like making jokes about it the whole time. It's worth watching.
All right, I'll have to check that out. Dankula?
Yeah.
We
Count Dankula's it's part of the Absolute Mad Lad series.
Oh yeah, I'll check that out. But yeah, man, that scene pretty visceral. Even like right when it starts, like doesn't he kind of just manhandle Harry with the wand? He just cuts right to the chase. This is a real situation, little boy. Boom. I just break past your defense. You're restrained. I could just kill you right now if I want. The game is over. Now I'm going to do my ritual. You know what I mean?
You now.
Yeah. Oh, that was one of yeah, dude. The way he says it and how. Anyway, but that was also one of the acclaimed things was Voldemort's performance. By the way, just the actor on his face is regarded as a entire series highlight, apparently. Even with the changes.
Yeah, for sure. Ray Fiennes killed it, man.
Dude, I feel bad for all of the TV actors for the performances they have to follow up on.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, but one in particular, I don't know.
Oh, dude, what a travesty.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is that the one of the ones that like not a lot. I haven't heard many people talk about. But like Robbie Coltrane did such a perfect Hagrid that when like Nick Frost in the role of Hagrid in the previews, like it's not Hagrid, man. It's like it's a real bummer, man.
Yeah.
It's like okay, you're essentially just look like Hagrid, but you don't sound or act like Hagrid at all. And what's cool is like in the audio books, the Stephen Fry narrated audio books, like it is so like Stephen Fry, it's almost like Stephen Fry is doing Robbie Coltrane playing Hagrid instead of just like it's that close. So it's like so that means like there's just so many people that have that version of Hagrid in their head. Like, good luck,
wizard,
buddy.
Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck following that one.
Okay, so they're interesting. So I'm looking at the scene with Voldemort breaking down here. So they arrive, Cedric dies, literally kill the spare. The ritual.
Imagine if he missed and hit Harry.
Yeah. Voldemort monologues, which I'm sure I could look up quotes of that and it'd be cool. But then he tortures Harry with a Cruciatus curse.
Yeah.
So what is that? Is that just pain?
It's one of the three. Yeah, it's one of the three unforgivable curses.
It's like physical pain. Yeah.
And basically are the absolute extremes of evil, I guess you could say. The Imperious Curse, basically imposing your will onto another person, taking over their mind. The Cruciatus, which is pain.
Yeah, excruciating pain.
Just inflicting pain on someone. And then, of course, Avada Kedavra, which just...
The killing curse.
Yeah, disturbed kill. Which, fun fact, D&D, a lot of questionable characters and the hardest, most evil enemies do a lot of charming effects, right? It kind of coincides, to be honest, like everything. One of the most powerful spells, Power Word Kill, like straight up, the description is like you point at somebody, you say a word of power, and if they have X amount of HP or less, they're just dead. They fall over dead. It's like that scene from Rick and Morty where Rick is like, "Don't touch me, don't do it, don't touch me," and then they touch him, and then just die, just fall over dead quietly. Like it's like, oh, see, and it's like it's kind of unsettling and powerful, just like the straight up death. But yeah, the pain thing, I can't think of an equivalent for that. There's not like a torture spell in D&D, which I'm sure that probably wouldn't have gone over well for censors. They'd have to like market. I don't know if they'd have to market differently having stuff like that in there, but they have other stuff.
Torture spell to tickle spell. See,
I don't know. Just as a reference, they give you a decent reference in both the books and the movies. You get more impact from the reference in the books, but the mention of Neville Longbottom's parents and the fact that they were tortured into madness by the Cruciatus.
Yeah.
And in the books, in Order of the Phoenix, you actually get to meet them very briefly in the psych ward of
St. Mungo's
hospital.
Yeah,
like
that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so that I thought that was a really good stroke of storytelling because it set up the true significance and is set up an entire book previous. Like, okay, you find out in 4 that the Cruciatus is bad. It's one of the unforgivable curses. But you don't understand the significance of it until book 5 over Christmas break, when they're in St. Mungo's with Weasley Sr. and they meet Neville Longbottom's parent. Like that's where they find out Neville Longbottom's parents have been there since the first uprising, when and then you also find out how horrible a person Bellatrix Lestrange is, because she did that to him. So it's,
And then Moody, being played by Crouch Jr., is like showing it off to Neville in the class.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Just extra
Yeah.
messed up when you think about it.
yeah.
So-
I'm
Couple things here. First,
Yep.
to Jared's point, I've noticed that that's something that Rowling does in basically all the Harry Potter movies, it seems, or in all the Harry Potter books, it seems, where she'll set something up and then elaborate further on it in the next book. It's like a step ladder almost.
Yeah,
Because the mention of Azkaban we get is in Chamber of Secrets, because the minister comes is like, sorry, Hagrid, we have to take you to.
yep,
And then in Prisoner of Azkaban, you get Sirius, who's basically been broken down by being in Azkaban for so long, even if he could kind of hide from the Dementors by turning into a dog.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, and that's another thing too, is like the more the books go on and you find out more, the more you find out about Azkaban, then you look back at book 2, is like, holy crap, that's horrible. You sent Hagrid to that over suspicion? That's him? Jeez.
Yeah,
That's
that-
horrible.
that's another thing. The Ministry of Magic is so royally fucked up.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
dude.
it's true.
Like, dude,
I'm learning some
like inspiring statue, friends in magic in the Ministry's Great Hall that we see in Order of the Phoenix. It's like, you have not earned this.
Yes.
Earned
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some interesting new mechanics that I wasn't previously aware of, as pertaining to the duel that took place after the torturing of Harry Potter. Because Voldemort forces him into a duel, thinking he's just gonna have an easy victory. But their wands have like a feedback thing that happens, because there's a twin phoenix feather core inside both of them, because it's from the same guy, right? They get the wands from the same
Yeah.
plug.
I think they're both from
Both from Fox.
Dumbledore's Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're-
both from Fox, huh? So it's like
Yeah.
the same. It's like the same creature, or the same exact creature. So then that's symbolic.
Yeah.
Kind of like two sides of the same coin.
Well, and going back
Well-
to foreshadowing, and it really is phenomenal how you see just how well Rowling was able to foreshadow a lot of things. Because in that first book and subsequently the first movie, you get that great scene in Ollivanders where he goes to get his wand, and okay, one, okay, that one doesn't work. So I'm gonna need wand 2. Okay, that one definitely no.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Also, that is the first Doctor Who actor that we got in the Harry Potter movie, John Hurt,
yeah.
because he played the War Doctor. Sorry, I got distracted. But then you have him just sit there, grab the wand from the stack. I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after the wand works, he's just like, okay, so this is rather interesting, and this is why.
Yeah.
Because
Yep,
this
same coin.
feather gave another one, and the other one gave you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of already picking that up, and then you get further building that connection in this one, where the wands don't really want to hurt the wielder of the opposing wand, because the wands themselves are brothers, and they can sense that soul connection between Harry and Voldemort.
Yeah.
We call that Chekhov's wand.
Chekhov's wand. Oh man. Speaking of that, that's hilarious, by the way. Speaking of that, the Priory Incantatum. What is that? It's it triggers echoes from a wand's victims or some.
Well, no, the Priori
such?
Incantatum is you'll see the last. It's like the last 3 spells cast by the wand.
And
In
what is it?
book-
Is that a spell? Is the Priory Incantatum a spell, or is it an
No,
effect?
Priori Incantatum is the state of wands. When wands connect, you will see the last 3 spells cast by one.
Well,
Hmm.
as I
Basically,
recall, I
there's-
thought it was a bit of a spell because in the beginning, after everything is said and done, and the Dark Mark has been cast at the World Quidditch Tournament, one of the ministry responders to the incident finds the wand.
Oh, that's right.
was picked up by
Yes.
cast Priori Incantatum to see what
Yes.
spells were. Like, is this the culprit wand?
Yeah.
I believe it also comes up a couple other times
Yep.
in books because it's a really useful sort of forensics spell.
Yep. Yeah, it does. It does come up a few different times. So, but when Harry and Voldemort connect wands, it's not. Harry doesn't actively call for it; it just happens.
No,
And there's a reason given for it. I just don't remember what it was now.
It says here, it's because of the Twin Phoenix feather cores. So something about the wands connecting, that feedback loop or whatever. I don't know if the Priory Incantatum was cast on it prior and it was just latent this whole time maybe. And then it was released when the wands connected in some way. See, I'm not familiar with the details, but that's just what it says here. It's because of the feathers apparently. But it says here, a golden thread of light forms between the wands, expanding into a glowing dome or cage, and Voldemort's wand is forced to regulate echoes of its previous victims in reverse order. So that's all very specific.
Except
and-
there's one plot hole with that.
yeah.
because-
What's that?
So you see Voldemort's wand killed Cedric, killed the caretaker of the Riddle estate, and then killed Harry's parents. But Voldemort cast the Cruciatus curse on Harry with his wand. So there's a little bit of a plot hole there that there's never any solution given to that. It's just that it's just glossed over.
You could have had a simple solution I don't know.
Is it just like people who died as a result, or any spell that's used?
I think it's in terms of the way the ministry was using it forensically, like Bill was saying, it was just whatever the last few spells were used of the wand.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, according to this,
even
it
if it only
says
shows wands that killed, that would still be useful forensically. It's like, oh, this wand wasn't used to kill. Okay.
right, and that's kind of what I was about to say. Is it says here, it was forced to regulate the last 3 victims, or what is it? Where is it? It was forced to regulate echoes of its previous victims. So all of its victims. But he's probably had a lot, so
Yeah.
there'd be more than 4, right?
Oh,
His
man,
parents, the third one, like you mentioned, and then the
days with
recent one.
4.
yeah. Say it again, Bill.
You'd think so based on your description, AC, but it stays on those 4 in both the book and the movie.
Yeah.
And summoning those ghostly apparitions of the 4. Also, are you just drawing Dumbledore shaking Harry like a rag doll?
Yeah.
Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Yes.
Dumbledore asked calmly. Okay, so I want to point out, that scene is memed on to death. And it's understandable why, because throughout all the books, Dumbledore is very calm, very collected. He doesn't show a lot of emotion.
He's very even.
Yeah, he's very even. And Richard Harris did a phenomenal job showing that.
Mm-hmm.
And while I understand Richard Gambon very much does not have that same evenness about him, but at the same time, I'm struggling to find the words. This is why I write. I'm not good at the speech.
Yeah.
At the same time, I still very much enjoy Gambon's performance. And
Oh yeah,
take
I
that
thought
scene as an example. Yeah, he's showing more emotion. We're getting that meme worthy. Did you put your name in the goblet of fire? But at the same time, he's still showcasing one of Dumbledore's core traits, which is trusting people and willing to take people at their word, so long as they don't give him a reason to believe that they are deceiving him.
yeah.
And in other scenes as well, like if we go back to Prisoner of Azkaban, he starts speaking coyly about the time turner. He just immediately starts saying, "Funny thing, time." And, right before he closes the door to the hospital wing, he just says, 3 turns ought to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and then winks.
Yep.
So he still has a level, or he still has a bit of calculation and reasonableness behind it. He's just third time Doctor Who's being brought up tonight. It's almost when you compare David Tennant to most of the other Doctors. David Tennant is a bit more of an open book than any of the other Doctors are. A lot of the other Doctors are more reserved.
Mm.
That's kind of how I'd compare Richard Harris between Harris and Gambon.
Michael Gambon and Richard Harris.
Yeah, was I saying Richard Gambon?
You did.
Whatever his name is. Gambit from the X-Men. Gambon's got more of that. He's a bit more open about his emotions, whereas Harris wasn't.
Yeah.
But it still is the same character. It still feels like the same character. The core character traits are still there.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved Michael Gambon as Dumbledore. I thought it was awesome. I loved Richard Harris too. And it's like, geez, like how do you replace Richard Harris? Dude was a legend. And so I think Michael Gambon playing Dumbledore the way he did was the right call. Billy!
We're talking
Billy.
Harry Potter, Billy. What?
And can you put up HPH's quote from a while ago?
Yeah.
It's the imperious curse. Imposing your will on another person, inflicting pain. It's an ex-wife.
It goes in your will. Oh my goodness. Oh,
That's so good.
inflicting pain.
Alimony.
Can relate.
What is it? Inflatius alimonius. A lot of the spells kind of sound like they're rooted in like Latin, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
cool.
Latin and it was some other language.
Pattinson got clapped.
Yeah, he did.
Voldemort was just like delete, Death Note style, with his weird wand.
Something
movement.
very much got in his way, and it was the killing curse.
Pattinson was a good Cedric Diggory. He was good.
He was.
Yeah.
I I don't know why it wasn't mentioned, but like maybe it was off-putting to some people, but the scene where they're swimming, where they're all like the one guy's a shark, Harry turns into a merfolk. Most of them have to use the rebreather thing. Like
The bubblehead charm.
yeah, yeah. And then just thinking of the implications of all that, like he's actually got to breathe that water in there, technically. Yeah, it's like he's tasting it, it's in his mouth and lungs and like ugh. Same with the shark guy, Crumb.
Crumb, yeah.
He's like the Animaniac type of wizard though, right?
Yeah.
Animaniac.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so in the book, it's actually elaborated that he botched a transfiguration spell. So Crumb, there's a reason Crumb was an athlete. He was not studious. There's even an ongoing joke in the book where he keeps mispronouncing Hermione's name.
So he's not
As what was it, Hermione?
Yeah.
So his
Was he
IQ
trying
is
to
like
be an actual shark?
I'm not sure what he was trying to do.
Because like
Yeah.
All that said is
either
that
you
he
weren't
botched the
trying to be a shark, in which case
transfiguration
you fucked up, or you were trying to be a shark, in which case you fucked
And
up.
if you think about it, if he is trying to be a shark, what's he going to do once he gets down there? Like, how are you going to? You're a shark,
You
bro.
gotta grab
How are
him
you
with
going to bring
teeth.
Hermione out? Like,
it was the Russian teachers like trying to walk him through one of the spells. But it's like that scene.
No.
It's like that skit where it's like, all right, we'll just add your investment here and it's gone.
Okay,
But
hold on.
it's like the Russian teacher's like, yeah, we'll just add this ingredient and you're a Targaryen, but for sharks.
So I need it, Jarrod. You make movies,
I mean, I try.
so there's one shot in this movie that's always has not sat right with me, and that is the shot right after the whole announcement of the games, the cup, and all of that. It's that shot of Karkaroff stepping into the Great Hall, being all sneaky, and he has that face, and he closes the door behind him. That shot has never sat right with me. Like,
No, I
all
didn't.
I can
Yeah.
think is that it is meant to be setting him up as a red herring,
Yes.
but at the same time, I cannot. So many great movies with twists. When you go back, everything suddenly makes sense. Prime example, The Sixth Sense. You go back after knowing the twist, everything about it makes sense from top to bottom. Even the way everyone is treating Bruce Willis's character,
Yeah.
quote unquote. But I cannot figure out what was Karkaroff doing in that. He wasn't the one that confounded the goblet.
No. It was it was like I have
read
always
the
thought
script.
it was a cheap red herring shot.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm not the only one
I've-
that thought that
no.
was a cheap shot.
I totally agree. And it is one of like, it's one of those things that I'm never able to look past on any viewing of the film after seeing it. It's like, that's you cheap bastards. It's just a shitty cheap shot. Is all it is.
I feel like they do enough other stuff to set him up as a bit of a red herring, because it's obvious throughout the film that he is or was a former Death Eater.
Yep.
So he already is a prime red herring without doing a cheap shot.
Without that. No. And like you leave that. I mean, it actually it sets him up even better if you don't do that and you leave it as a big question mark until the scene with the Ponceave.
Mhm.
When Harry sees that memory, then it's like, ooh, this guy's dirty. But I hate that shot in there. I hated it.
Billy says there's a deleted scene in the film where Karkov tries to get Snape to admit he's a Death Eater, and he reaches for Snape's sleeve and to reveal the dark mark.
That was the one at the Yule Ball that we were talking about.
Oh, yeah. Yep, we touched on that. We touched on the Yule Ball scene, Billy, with Snape
We touched the ball. Wait,
sneaking up on the kids and all that.
Making out in the
Yeah.
making out in
Yeah.
the carriages.
Yeah. But
yeah, I'm right there with you, Bill.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not crazy or overly critical here.
No, that shot has always pissed me off. After first viewing, that shot has always pissed me off.
I'm sitting here like, yeah, it doesn't sit right with me. Jared's over here like, you're pissing me off. The fucking scene, I fucking hate it.
well, isn't it like
Yeah.
hand holding? Isn't it kind of like assuming you're stupid or something? Like just like you're not going to think about what you're watching. so when you do-
Maybe a little bit, but it's just like it's so on the nose for the red herring.
Like, hey, look at this.
Hey, no, nothing to see here, folks. Just a suspicious guy closing the door. I'm sure it's fine. It's like, oh, come on. That ham-fisted
real.
stuff just drives me nuts, dude.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, I thought there was some interesting details. Like I don't know, they're rolling out the world building as they go. The world, watching this time around, the world felt like it could get crazy and complicated, and
Yeah.
like why isn't there like 6 Harry Potters and like 3 Voldemorts and stuff like that? You know what I mean?
Well, and to be fair too, like this book, there's a substantial size difference between the first 3 books and then the last books, like the last 4 books. So there's a big gap between Prisoner of Azkaban and Goblet of Fire. So there's a lot more material to adapt into a film that has to be the same general running length. But it's like, I mean, I think they could have probably split all the rest of the books up into 2 films each, and it would have still. I think the franchise would have still been a huge success and still made money.
Well, yeah, you can say part 1 and part 2.
Yeah,
easy. It's
and
still one movie.
then fit more of those details in there, because I think
Half-Blood Prince.
Well, what it would demonstrate too is the story, how much, just like you get a clearer picture of how much the story matures with the characters by all of the details that are in the books that you don't get to see in the film. And so by the time, so like you really, like it makes the gravity, it would make the gravity by the time you get to Deathly Hallows, the gravity of the story even more significant because of your expand, that you would have been able to expand the world building. And at the same time, like I get it, like nobody knows, like nobody had a crystal ball to see like how big Harry Potter was going to be.
Well, not only that, but Rowling was a bit selective about some of the things she would tell, like what was important or not.
Yeah.
I have one major contention with Order of the Phoenix, that movie, but we'll get there when we get there. It's kind of interesting to think about, actually, because you're writing a big book series that basically each book is its own little mystery detective book for kids and families to enjoy. So you don't really want to leak what you're planning, but at the same time, now you have a big Hollywood deal. The movies are being popular as well. You're having a significant role in producing the films, selecting actors and working with the directors, figuring out, what needs to go into the films and whatnot to help the story make sense in the adaptation. So how much do you reveal?
Yeah.
Because any number of people on set might leak it.
This is an interesting topic, guys. And Jared, I'm glad you're here for it, because I'm okay. I basically have said my thoughts on this Harry Potter movie. I think it floats because of the spectacle. There's some cool details. The world had me going, oh, I want to know more about that. Scenes like the swimming, I was like, oh, I feel like I can like taste that water that he's swimming in. I'm like imagining you can see the science behind everything. So I'm gonna give it a float. But before I lose my train of thought, remind me after we go through and see what you guys say about the movie to come back to this idea of what to reveal when it's being adapted. But yeah, let's go down the line. Jarrod, what did you think?
It floats. It floats. I mean, the whole series, every movie floats for me. Even though there's some are stronger than others in terms of an adaptation, it still flows for me.
That's interesting. No sinking Harry Potters.
No.
I suppose they're all really good, actually.
Yeah.
This series was lightning in a bottle, just like the other three we've talked about. The fourth one floats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, before we get to animation, Billy says Moaning Myrtle was helping Harry in the lake in the book. Yeah, it sounds like there's some variation. You know, they cut some things.
Dude, it
out,
was
and
Dobby in the book. It was Dobby that gives Harry the gillyweed for the second challenge.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you may not have seen it, but Billy said that too right here. Dobby was the one who gives Harry the gillyweed in the book, and then I said Dobby knows a guy. He's got a plug.
Well, the thing is, like Rowling told the told the director of the filmmakers is like, do not downplay the house elves because they have their role is significant through for the rest of the series. Like they get more significant. Like don't cut out spew, don't downplay the house elves. And what do? They cut out spew and they downplay the house elves.
You know why?
I can understand why you'd want to cut it out of. It's already a lot of you have to try and fit in there.
Yeah.
Didn't like a bunch of I'll just say this just so the stream it's not at risk. Didn't like a certain demographic of people kind of come after J.K. Rowling because of a certain stereotype that they perceived within her work on the faces of these house elves and perhaps the bankers, right?
It was mostly the bankers. The bankers are where it really came. Where's what started
Apparently,
it all.
Do you think that same mindset?
Jewish? I don't know.
Right. Do you think that same mindset could have carried over? Like maybe like in a softer way, and they just downplayed it and cut out spew. You know,
maybe.
Maybe.
It's speculating, but
wizards.
He's like got the Godfather voice going on a little bit. Animation.
Jewish Godfather would have been a very different movie.
I can't unsee it now.
Remind me to give you guys a very funny Italian complete side tangent on here, unrelated to anything. After we get everybody's floater sync.
All right. Italian side tangent. I'll take note of that. Animation. What did you think, floater sync?
I say it floats. I really like it.
Easy float.
Fun
Easy
movie.
float. I'll play the clip before we end the stream, just so we're not interrupting anything. But like, let's just go right into that Italian story.
Oh, dude. So I am. I was asked if I could man the audio board for this memorial service we're having at the church, right? And so sure. So I'm in, and I'm in Video Village, and I'm doing it so the auditorium is like quiet. It's just uninterrupted. There's no extraneous people in there. So I'm in the Video Village, running audio, and one of the and it's an Italian family, and my buddy who's sitting beside me is pure Italian, like Chicago Italian, and so her brother gets up, and he's like, our brother Dickie couldn't make it to the funeral today, and he asked me to read him a leave. He asked me to read this letter, and so so he goes to read this letter, and essentially, it like he says he wanted him to like give his well wishes and read this letter, but this letter is all about talking about how awesome the brother speaking is, and how good the brother speaking was to the sister who passed. It's like,
and then
like,
you guys can sit here and hear how well he can speak.
Yeah, it's so. I'm in the video village with Weston, and we're cracking up about it because it's like, holy crap, this guy is clueless. It's completely clueless how this is coming across right now. And so I start this like, Dickie, I need you to do me this thing. I need a favor. I'll never forget this favor, Dickie. You do this thing for me. It will be a great service to me and my family. It was
to me and my family.
And so for the next ever since then, just either Weston or I want just out of the blue, like, Dickie, I need you to do me this favor, and if you do this thing, I'll be very grateful.
Yeah,
and Wes is cracking up the whole time because like he has like not so distant mob ties in his family, like Chicago mob, and he's like, dude, no joke, I have 3 uncles that all sound exactly like that guy.
Yeah, that's funny, dude.
It would be a great benefit to me, a great service to me if you could do this thing.
I won't be able to not hear it now in the future. Harry
Someday
Potter,
that day may
it's
never
like,
come. I shall
It's
call
like-
upon you to do a service.
He's like, bro, this is your sister's funeral, man. It's your sister's memorial service, and you're reading a third party letter about yourself. Come on, get out of here.
The day will come where I'll call upon you to cast a very important spell.
I cannot tell you what the spell may be.
Maybe a Cadabra, you never know.
Yeah, very important. You see, resurrection of the Dark Lord or something. You know,
But it will be seen as a great personal favor to me,
Yep.
as well as my family.
Or you'll wake up with a paragraph head in your bed.
Yeah, a hippogriff.
A hippogriff. That's what it is. Hippogriff. Paragraph.
I know you raise hippogriffs. I would very much like to visit your farm someday.
Oh, I didn't touch on the music. They invented some songs for this movie. They made some pop music.
Oh yeah.
Dance like a hippogriff. Can you dance like a hippogriff?
Yeah. What was the name?
Yeah.
What's the name of the band in that?
Dude,
Because that band, the band they reference, it's supposed that band shows up in some of the other books, later books too. Like songs.
It's probably
by
good
that
to
band.
keep a couple 2 or 3
Yeah.
Harry Potter bands on reserve for sure. For sure, dude. Harry meets Bill and Charlie in the Goblet of Fire book. Yeah.
Yep. The Elder Weasley brothers.
They changed stuff. That's one thing we established. But that reminds me of my my thought.
Charlie's working with dragons, and so he gets the chance to meet him because, well, he's there with the dragons.
Yeah.
And speaking of dragons, and it's related to this thought, I watched the new episode of House of the Dragon with Draco night after I watched Harry Potter, and there was some more stuff revealed. I got to talk to him about some of the Song of Ice and Fire lore, and kind of where George Martin is at with his stuff lately. Basically, I've come to the conclusion that the guy, I mean, love him or hate him for whatever reasons, it's like, yeah, you don't have to read his books or whatever, but like, he's an American and he is a worldwide phenomenon. And what's happening is like essentially over and over again, these companies, people, establishments, organization, whatever, they just pillage his stuff. They literally just take it and then say whatever they need to get it from him, and then do whatever the fuck they want. So that's where my thought kind of comes back into play. It's like what Bill was saying about how much do you reveal to because think about it. If George would have given Oh, dude, if George would have given everything to Dumb and Dumber, could you imagine how, like back in the Game of Thrones days, how bad they could have just like kept that going and really just royally messed up his world? Or like if he gave everything to these House of the Dragon people, because like I don't know if you guys heard, but like he basically is not even on speaking terms with the House of the Dragon people. He
Yeah.
is so upset with what they're deleting characters, creating plot holes, deviating so much, and just creating butterfly effects, and
Yeah.
not listening to him, just setting.
But
him
I
aside.
think the only thing with that is like George is the common denominator in that though.
Exactly.
Like this
Finish
is
your
on
book.
it's on George. And the thing is, I do think I still thoroughly like 100% maintain that Winds of Winter is finished. And he told Dan and Dave, Dumb and Dumber, exactly how the Song of Ice and Fire was going to end. And he saw how much people hate it, regardless of whether they did it well or not. He saw how much people hate the end, and like we will never ever see those books. He says he's writing and finishing Winds of Winter or whatever it is. Like I think at most he's probably trying to figure out if he can fix it, if he can change it, but he doesn't know how because he can't write that kind of story. And like that's A Song of Ice and Fire will never be finished. And I think like he's such a bitter, jaded old man that like I think he's just like impossible for people to work with for very long because like he is the common denominator in all of these busted professional relationships. And it's like George, you came from television. You should know how this works. You should be able to negotiate for the kind of control you want, especially at your level, and be able to dictate a little bit better if relationships start to fall apart, so you can get your way. So it's like, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you own this, and you sold it. Like, this is on you, buddy.
Yeah. Rule number 1 in the contract: lore accurate.
Yeah.
No further rules. Like, and here's the thing: if he would have actually just, okay, like let's just, I actually agree with you. I think it's been finished for a while. And if not, he has been secretly like, I don't know, exchanging the information with somebody that he intends to finish it posthumously or something similar to like how Sanderson did for Wheel of Time.
Jordan.
Yeah. Something along those lines, I think, because there's just too many years that have passed. Like he at least has more progress in it, or it's just done, like you said. So that said, I think you're actually onto something. I didn't used to think that. Because I don't think he gave them everything per se, but I do think he gave them enough, right?
Yeah.
Where
I think he gave the bullet points.
Yeah, that's the gist of it, because they were not on speaking terms themselves, basically after season 3, which is why it basically starts falling apart from there, because they have a looser and looser grasp on what to do. But I think you're right in that there is, like, for example, after I watched all this, I went and I was like looking into some stuff because of certain things that they revealed on the show. It confirmed a few things, and I just have this like theory that there's going to be Lovecraftian deep ones, and we're going to see those at some point, because there's too much foreshadowing if he ever finishes it, or if it is finished already, Jarrod, per se. But so I go and I'm looking into stuff, and I start realizing I kind of have like, I'm starting to figure out the magic system of this world and stuff like that. So just to like really cut to like the end of it, what you're saying about like, you think that was the real ending and people didn't like it. I think you're right, because what my research pointed at is that like, even though Daenerys is super set up to be like this Christ-like savior, Messiah-like figure, in the book, like this mother goddess type, because George draws on all kinds of like religions and cultures when he symbolizes things.
Yeah.
Even though she's set up like that, what I've learned, so that's a very local description of the character, right? While you're reading the book, it's like George is describing that to you right there. It's a very localized description. But when you zoom out and you look at like the history of the world, what's going on the greater scale, and what the truth behind like the gods of the world and what the magic might actually be, it's actually kind of shocking because it paints Daenerys as an agent of basically the devil. Like, just to super simplify it, what you got going on is you have the world, which can be personified as something like, I don't know, just picture Jesus as the world, like he's standing there or laying on the ground. And then you have the devil, and then also the devil, just like the red devil and the blue devil, dancing on top of him fighting. Like, that's essentially what's going on in the world as far as the gods are concerned. What you have is these two opposing forces, like good and evil, ice and fire, basically the imposing will on things versus like preserving things, erasing things versus memory, these kind of dualistic aspects. And what ends up happening through the complicated history is you get these two different fully realized versions of conquest, or like or imposition, right? Imposing will. And that's like the others are the White Walkers, and then dragons, ice and fire. These are the strongest forces of, like, I don't know how to put this, like dominance, or like changing your environment kind of thing. Because because the opposite of that is like preserving and memory and nature, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I say you got these two devils basically dancing on top of this third figure, which I just said is Jesus. And Jesus is like the world, and everybody in it, and then you got these two like not good characters that are on opposite sides of things dancing on top. But it all serves this greater purpose of like ecosystem and cycles. So you could say there's actually only one God. But anyway, if George would have revealed all this, it could have gone over people's heads, and maybe he did reveal a lot of it, and people didn't like it, like you said, because fire is destructive as much as it is creative. But at the end of the day, when I trace all these elemental aspects, the mythology within the world, and the different religious beliefs in the world back to like their sources, it basically just paints Daenerys and all the Targaryens out to be this dominating alien force. So that might have been the ending. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's and if it was if it was, and that's what he wrote, dang, man. Oof.
Yeah.
That sucks. Like, that sucks. And like and it's been so long though, dude. It's like gee whiz.
I didn't want to believe it at the time, because I'm like, oh, but there's all this foreshadowing and symbolism, and she's built up to be like this
But he's
messiah,
also
and she's
like deconstructing everything too.
exactly, yeah. And that's the other thing I found is like basically, so it's
If
called
you
A Song of Ice and
deconstruct
Fire.
everything, that includes all the good stuff too. So.
Exactly.
But
Since it's called,
go ahead.
oh, since it's called A Song of Ice and Fire, there's dualism in everything. Like, fire destroys and creates. So like that's like he's doing that over and over again, and it's why popular culture is so obsessed with gray morality. But George is doing it in an original progenitor genesis kind of way, and everybody else has been trying to copy ever since, and it's become boring, which is why everybody puts so much pressure on him. Because I don't know if you guys have seen the articles recently of like fantasy fatigue because of like Rothfuss and Martin and these types of characters not finishing their stories. Yeah. Yup.
Yeah.
So
yeah. The thing I think one thing I think that pisses a lot of people off when it comes to Martin specifically is his ability to write and finish everything else. or not maybe not finish, but at least write everything else. Like he wrote all. He's got Duncan Egg. He wrote what was that? I mean the Dance with
Oh,
Dragons. The whole
Yeah.
like history. The whole history of what is it's like he calls it the Grimmarillion. It's like his lore book for
That's the source I
West
had to.
Coast.
That's the source I had to get a lot of the descriptions and stuff
Yeah,
from, because
which is what House of the Dragon is.
Yeah.
largely.
Oh,
Like he wrote that. He did this stupid like Westerosi Ice and Fire cookbook. Like he's
Yeah.
had all of these things that he's done, except the story that that drew people to the world.
Mhm.
And so it's like all of that combined is why I think like he's actually finished it, and he knows people will hate it. And
He's in the post game.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's already in the post game.
I could be wrong. It's just the thing is like I just don't care anymore. Like I
Right.
read Dance with Dragons when it came out, and that was good grief. Well, how many years ago was that? Is it 14 years now? 14?
That's book 5, right?
Pushing 15 years? Yeah.
That book, bro, man, out of all the books, it's like, to those listening, you might as well read book 1, and if you're only going to read any other one, book 5. Just skip right to 5 and just read that, fill in the gaps, because the prologue of both book 1 and book 5 are so important. It's like book 1 is how he establishes the world, so you can just fill in the gaps there. Everything is important in there. He's established all the symbolism. This is the first time we see this thing, and it's symbolized in this. It's all very important. And then the prologue of book 5 literally it's almost like he knew he's not going to do anymore for a while. So he made it extra thick, because each book gets thicker than the last, right? So he did a bunch of content in that. And the prologue is just as special as the initial prologue of book 1, where it's like revealing things about the magic. That's how I learned like a lot of
and
stuff.
book 5 is just the second half of book 4. Like that was one, a Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons. That was one book. They just split into 2 because it's so massive. So it's like, oh man, I just don't care at this point. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
If you want epic fantasy that won't leave you hanging, just go. There's plenty of other people. Go read Jason McCuison's new book.
Yep. MAJI Chan.
MAJI Chan. Yep.
Yep.
The Honorable Mayor. Honorable Mayor's got several fantasy titles. It's like, I'm done with these. I'm done with these mainstream guys.
Yeah.
Like,
shout outs to John Douglas in the new book. Oh, but the reason I can't help but still, I mean, like, I want to see the end and I want to read it because I like the story. I listened to it a lot when I was like studying writing, just because George is such an old boomer and one of the top. It's just like studying Star Wars, even if you're not into, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just like I want to see the end of it, but like at the same time, shoot, I forgot what I was getting at. I lost my train of thought. Dang it! What were we talking about? I think it's been done, and that's the ending. Damn it! I forgot my train of thought. Bill, what was my train of thought?
I have no idea. All I'm going to say is
The Bipolar Express.
if you're interested, for everyone who's sick and tired of jackasses like Rothfuss and Martin, read Zorn.
There you
It's
go.
not
Read
finished
Zorn.
yet, but I will finish it if it kills me.
I remembered my thought now. I can't help but care because he's such a big AAA name, right? Like I said, worldwide. He's American. I mentioned that earlier for a reason. That's like, even if you hate everything about him, there's still that, right? Because like, honestly, I don't know how much longer it's going to be before we can even say he's human, you know. But what I'm saying is like the more that these movie studios and show studios and stuff drop the ball this hard to the point where the creator is no longer on speaking terms with you and only speaks poorly about you whenever your name comes out of his mouth, the more it's going to highlight the importance for us to follow source material and adapt faithfully and in good faith and like actually hire people that like care about it and are fans and like respect the author and stuff like this. So.
And there's a cautionary tale in there about motivation too, because half of the reason he is in this, he's good night. Have a good one, Overload.
Oh yeah, take it easy.
Oh no, wait.
Me.
Is it Bill? Bill? All right. See you, Bill.
I have to go. I'm down to 4%.
Oh.
Every time I try to put my phone on my wireless charger, it starts overheating. The connection breaks up. It's awful. It's horrendous. To everyone listening, read Zorn. You can find it on Substack. Read Jason McQuistion's book. That's how you say that name, Jarrod.
I know. As soon as I said it, I was like, I said that wrong.
Yeah. It's okay. Our name. It's okay. He and I hail from the same Scottish clan. I've had to struggle. I've had to contend with that as well. People mispronouncing the name. That's how I know how the name is said.
Well, we can actually just like wrap up final thoughts here with after you're done. Get Jared's final thoughts on what we were saying here and wrap it up from there. Because Bill, what do you think? It kind of ties in with what you were saying about how much do you reveal? What's your like final thought on this subject about like how much to reveal, finishing your story, this type of stuff? Movie studios effing it up and people noticing these kind of things.
You need to actually nut up and shut up. Okay, if you do not care about your work, no one else is going to care about it. That is the biggest killer for A Song of Ice and Fire, is that it seems like Gurm doesn't care enough to finish it. Compare that to someone like me. I am continuously trying to get Zorn episodes of Zorn out for people to read. I'm even right now looking at other places I might start posting Zorn so that more people can see it. That is care. And I have plans. I could keep doing the series for a while. If you do not care, you cannot get the motivation to work on it.
That's
now,
true.
Is that 100%? Not necessarily. I care, but I've also struggled a bit with my work ethic. I will admit it. It's something that I'm trying to work on at the present.
Preach, brother.
I'm trying to get the Defender cycle for Zorn finished before the end of this year, which I don't know if I'm going to make it. It's definitely hurting my progress on my book, on my other books, but part of motivation is caring, and part of continuously working on your creative endeavor shows that you care and gives the audience a reason to care. Now, in terms of how much do you reveal, that's hard to say. Because on the one hand, you tell the actor playing this character, hey, this is what's happening to your character. This is his motivation. Work with it. And you give him like his entire character arc for like all 7 books.
Yep, whatever you gotta do.
Conversely, how much do you reveal? I would probably go the route. So let's say Zorn got a show deal. We start working on a show. I'm not done with Alexander Zorn's story. But I am still at a point, and I'm as much of an outliner, I can say, okay, X, Y, and Z need to be included. You cannot remove those from their respective episodes, because if you do, it's going to hurt the series later down the line. Prime example, the opening, we have to open up with this scene from Alexander's past where he's talking with his grandfather Tiberius, and Tiberius tells him, or Tiberius makes him promise, be a better man than me. Because that sets up what we learn about Tiberius closer to the end of the first 5 cycles. And it sets up thematically Alexander's journey and what he has to contend with as a person. So it's really a case. I think in a lot of ways it's a case by case basis, and how much do you actually trust the people behind the scenes. But
No.
I do have to step out now. I am down to 2%. People, read Zorn. You can
Cheers.
find it on Substack. I am doing my damnedest to be consistent with Zorn. Why? Because I care about it, and I want you to care about it too. Good night, everyone.
See you, Bill.
Night,
Good night,
Bill.
man.
All right. Jarrod, your final thoughts on that whole subject, and then we can.
Yeah, I think you're probably better off to do it the way Rowling did it as opposed to the way Martin did it, because and again, like I was saying earlier, like it's a cautionary tale about motivation, because George always wanted like you listen to George's interviews, and especially like he talks about like, you know, writing for the Twilight Zone, writing for Beauty and the Beast, all that stuff. Like he's always wanted to be part of that crowd. He's always wanted to be.
Yeah.
He's always wanted to be at the top of the Hollywood circles, like in those circles. That's what he's wanted to be. Before anything else, that's what he wanted, and that's what he's gotten. And this is the fruit of that. Like you're gonna,
This is the
like,
fruit of that, Bill.
you're gonna,
Dude,
like,
you're not.
you're gonna swim in it. You want to swim in a cesspool, you're gonna get shit on you, and like that's and so like he has no one to blame but himself for this, and it's like it's hard for me to find have any sympathy for him at all, because like what you got for him, like what he got in terms of status out of his creation was more important than his creation. And like then what you're creating becomes a means to an end instead of the means itself. And as soon as art, in whatever medium it is, as soon as art becomes a means to an end instead of the end itself, it's not art. It's something else entirely at that point. And it's just not interesting to me. So that's why it's like, I don't care. I just don't care what he does anymore, because what he's doing is not interesting to me, because he has proven what it is he's interested in, what motivates him, and where his desire is. His desire is no longer in telling a good story and telling even like telling his own story, to finishing his story. It's just this. How much? What can I write to get the next TV deal? What can I write to get the next series? What can I write to stay in these Hollywood circles? It's like, but I mean, if that's the pool you want to swim in, fine, man. But like, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, no, I can't blame anybody for that. I do, since whenever I try to bring it up again, because I know, especially within my own inner circle, there's a lot of my friends that are long past the George R. Martin thing. In fact, he's actively perceived as an enemy to Tolkien. He's like perceived as a Tolkien Satan, so to speak.
And like making something that's financially successful or trying to isn't innately bad. It's when that takes precedent over the craft itself.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And it's not. I mean, I think it's even more insidious than that. It's just like it's not necessarily the financial success. It's what the financial success affords him in terms of status. Like that's what he's really chasing.
Status,
and
he wants to be remembered.
That's just gross.
He knows he can't take the money. He knows he can't take the money with him because he's a smart guy. But he's so desperate for this, like, to have his skull on the wall next to Tolkien, or his statue in the hall next to Tolkien, or Moorcock. Right, his inspirations. Let's be honest. He doesn't really talk smack about Tolkien. It's kind of in a playful way, the way Tolkien and C.S. Lewis. He's trying to like have that same kind of playful tone. It just comes off the wrong way.
On, like the minutia of it all.
And his fans take it to the extreme, and then you get people who oppose certain choices, like how he deals with morality, that rise up, and then they use like Tolkien as a moral example, and now he's like the Tolkien Satan, the opposite.
Yeah.
And so I totally get all these things. One thing I found in my little deep dive, and I'll leave everybody with this. It's a little I've dropped some clues on the subject to the upcoming video that I want to make with Draco. Kind of, basically, I'm just going to expose the whole world. I'm going to make one super video. I'm going to say, listen, guys, this is how it is. Here's the religion and the magic. Mystery solved. Big whoop. Now you don't gotta wait for the books to end for any other reason other than to see what happens with the characters, I guess. But also kind of touch on the problems with House of the Dragon and see where the video goes. But I'll leave you guys on this. I discovered some weird Easter eggs. So like, there's a lot of stuff that points to real world, like the symbolism he uses, and some things within the world point to some real world conspiracy theories, and because he points to real world mythology and real world history and real world religions, so he also points to real world conspiracy theories, and probably the ones that were really big when he was growing up, right? So like Roswell, aliens, these kind of things. I basically, like, look at this. What is it? Before remove the other one. Okay, remove this. Look at this. One of the oldest conspiracy theories in real life is that there's this race of Nordic tall whites that look weirdly human. And it just really struck me when I was watching the most recent episode with Draco Knight, because I just, for some reason, it's like the scales fell from my eyes. I started every scene. There was a lot more scenes than usual in this particular episode, where you had the Targaryen in his armor and his crazy white hair, and he's taller than everybody, actually, when you think about like Matt Smith, and the other Targaryens. Just tall, lanky, skinny motherfucker with long white hair, and it's like, and then everybody else around him is like short and fat and like muted colors and dull and dirty and stuff. And it's like, it really struck me. I was like, this is an alien. This is an alien. I'm like, and so like I just started saying during every Targaryen scene, I'm like, isn't it crazy how human it looks? And it turns out when you like follow, it made me look into the magic, because I needed to understand the how and why to a lot of it, to trace the history back appropriately. But yeah, when you follow it back, turns out there's all this. One of the other popular conspiracy theories in real life around George R.R. Martin's time and before his birth, because that was there, but this was also there. Alien bases underwater. There's a lot of stuff in the world that pertains to the oceans. So I think those two things are going to be relevant. I basically, you can trace these things back to some weird, like, visitor from outer space that had a pearl carriage carried by 100 wives, and then he ascended back into the stars. And this isn't like prophecy. This is George Martin writing this based on studying these prophecies. So yeah, it kind of just sounds like Targaryens are like humans cut with some sort of alien blood. And yeah, I'll just leave it. It's not a new theory, but I basically confirmed it using kind of
this is a theory. This is a theory among like Martin theorists.
Among Martin theorists, it's
Fake
one of the
strange.
common. Well, because I guess some of his other short stories, one of the plot twists was dun dun dun, it's actually sci-fi, or like alien stuff, like as a plot twist. So people have always took note of that and noticed some things, like, what if the werewood trees are a parasitic alien? Well, no, that doesn't check out. It's like pretty much as clear as the symbolism shows. The children of the forest and the werewoods are the natives, the indigenous species of the planet. And in fact, if anything, humans in general could actually be aliens, and Targaryens / Valerians could just be the magically and genetically modified, rendered down, imposed will version of a human, after you have thousands of years of like trying to figure out how to bond with dragons, incorporating draconic DNA, doing blood
I have
rituals.
a quick question.
Yeah.
About the world. Have the White Walkers always been around, or are they like a relatively new thing?
What I figured out is they have not always been around in the sense that it's shown like on the show and in chapter 1 of the books. I don't know if you know this, Jared, but the only time you actually get a description of a real White Walker is in the prologue of the first book, and that's it.
Yeah.
So the show really ran away with that. And so to answer your question, animation, just to really simplify it, what we're talking about is those children of the forest, those basically the elves of George R. R. Martin's world, making a deal with men as their way of getting around conflict. Their way of stopping that is to make pacts, promises, and interbreed, essentially. And when that happens, it essentially gave humans the ability to possess, like just in a biblical sense, body possession. You can jump into an animal's body, and that's why I pointed out the prologue of book 5, Jared. Literally, that character jumps into several people's bodies and continues living his life going forward. It's a big reveal. That's
Martin's wargs.
Yeah, it's basically what's going to happen to Bran. Bill mentioned Bran in the comments earlier. That's basically what's going to happen.
Yeah. Now, in A Song of Ice and Fire, the White Walkers are it is the prelude to their second coming, like the second wave of them. The wall in the north was built after the first incursion of the White Walkers to stop them, to keep them above the wall. And then now it's like there's this deep prophecy that the Targaryens knew about, that brought them to Westeros with the dragons, because if the White Walkers succeed in overthrowing, in completely conquering Westeros, it will spread across the narrow. They'll overtake the narrow sea, and they'll basically overrun the entire world. And so that's the prophecy that leads to all of the events that unfold in A Song of Ice and Fire,
like throughout the overarching history too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool because like even hearing you say all that again now, I kind of fully understand it back to like the beginning of the history. And I didn't have to like dive through the entire like big thick textbook. Like we living in the age of AI, so I can just cut right through the bullshit and figure out what I want to figure out. And so yeah, to answer Animation's question, like, yeah, they could have always been here in the sense where like the children of the forest may have been always merging with the trees and like participating in this living memory that's going on, the werewood net. But
I was just curious because I remembered a scene from the show where a White Walker like turned a baby into a White Walker or something.
See,
was that from the book or was that a show?
No, that's show only.
Okay,
that's show only, but there's some ties.
It's alluded to in Craster, because Craster makes offering of all his bastards to the White Walkers.
It's kind of showing how those are made, actually.
Yeah.
So okay, but it's like,
but you never know you don't know what happens to them.
Yeah. The implication is they're like, the show version, they get turned into an ice zombie and they grow up to be a big ice zombie and they can make zombies, right? But like in the books, what it is like an ancient ritual that people did. They give their certain important babies over to the others in the lore. Apparently Craster is in there, but what he is a microcosm symbolically showing how this all works. So like, to answer your original question, here's how it works. Okay, I mentioned the children made pacts and interbred, and that's how they got around conflict with the first conquering like invasive human beings that came over.
Was it the Andals?
Yeah, or like the first men. I don't know. Yeah. It's like
the Andals is what the refer to the Andals as the first men.
Yeah, but because of that distinction, that makes me think of that visitor from outer space thing going on. Like, so there's a lot of evidence. It's crazy. But anyway, because like, what's the difference? First men, Andals. What do you mean by Andal? A specific type of human, a different human. right? Like what's different about it, you know what I mean? But anyway, so what it points to is kind of like similar to the Craster thing, where they're like giving up their sons or something in this way, this symbolic way. What it points to is ancient men, or like a decision being made for certain people to be handed over in some way for some reason. And this reason, just to super simplify it, every castle in Westeros is built on top of a hollow hill. That's why they all have weirwoods. Where does the roots of the weirwoods go? Into these hollow underground portions of these castles, where there's likely a chamber with multiple old Greenseer kings that are wrapped in the roots, just like Bloodraven. That's what's under all the castles in Westeros. That's why castles were built there to begin with. That's why there's hollow hills. So that implies these people were chosen for that, right? As part of whatever this promise or pact was. Like think about it. If their solution is to like interbreed, like think about two warring nations. Like, how about you just marry my daughter? You know what I mean? If their solution is to interbreed, then this would be the spiritual version of that. Like, well, if we incorporate you into this, you'll understand stuff. And historically, around this time, every human being on Westeros basically converts to their religion willingly. So it's almost like they saw the truth and they were just like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense. They were incorporated spiritually. Now, that being said, at some point in time on the other side of the world, there's a cosmic event that knocks everything off balance, which is why like summer is years long and winter is years long and magic is amplified and suddenly everything's being corrupted. Basically, just to super summarize that, it's the story Color Out of Space by Lovecraft. Cosmic event crashes, corrupts everything, including a werewood at some point in time. And then you get a warlock type, or like a Julius Caesar type, or like a whoever quote unquote great ambitious person you want to insert there, figures out how to use this corrupted shade of the evening werewood tree to access that same spiritual thing. Now, when that happens, it displaces these Greenseer kings because their spirits are in there, and it's like spiritual sexual assault, for lack of a better word. You're spiritually invading like the world, basically the memory of the world, and so it displaces these ancient Greenseer kings, and that creates others because they're just icy spirits. Why are they icy spirits? They're probably not actually icy. It's just how it manifested because of where the heart tree is, which is far north of the wall, which is explained as like a natural immune defense mechanism to keep everything away from it. It just makes sense. It's the most preserving place on the world is the Arctic, you know?
Yeah. Dude.
So yeah, it's crazy.
You know what sucks? It's like just go like,
because think about it. What's
there's
it before?
so much depth. There's so much depth in all of this lore, and it's so good. And the fact that it's like you just keep finish the dang story.
Finish it,
man.
damn it!
It just pisses me off all over again. It's like, come on.
It gets even crazier too. Because why do they have to be human Greenseers? Why do they have to be human? Well, because the way the children of the forest work with their connection to nature is it's all willing. Everything is resonance and symbiotic. Everything is willing. So when they like interbreed and humans get this ability to possess, it's all imposing. Even Jon Snow with his dog, a dog and a human is a master relationship. That's a master slave relationship. As much as the dog loves you and is loyal to you, there's no situation ever where it's still just like a willing thing in the case of like Jon Snow and his dog. It's the as good as it gets, you know, where the dog essentially willingly submits, but it's still like a domination thing that's happening. He's possessing the dog's body. That's what's going on. And so when somebody like that spends their life for the purpose of marrying a tree one day and becoming the memory, they essentially become this wizard. And then they do that and they go on living for like another 10,000 years
he had wood.
They go on living another 10,000 years as a powerful tree spirit, basically, with the memory of, like, they're omniscient. They see all the past and future. You know what I mean? Like they set up with Bran. you learn a few more things, I think. And then when you're displaced through like a corruptive event and you become like an other, it turns out this idea of possession manifests in its fullest aspect in the form of possessing dead bodies, zombies. And that's where that comes from. There you go. It's the same thing.
The whites.
Yeah, it's interesting, dude. I learned a lot, and we went over time. I wanted to end a little sooner, but you guys seemed a little interested, and I had fun talking about it. I'm gonna make a fun video about this. It's gonna be the true religion of Westeros and how the magic works, but it'll be a catchier title.
You
I gotta
need a
I gotta
picture
bounce though,
of you
fellas.
like with a
Same.
like that meme with like the conspiracy board. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I'll do
Westeros.
something like that with like
Yeah.
something Game of Thrones related. Yeah, like,
If you
I
need a
think it's
thumbnail,
conspiracy.
just shout.
sounds good, brother. But you guys, you have a good night. I'm gonna go watch some podcasts with the wife and catch up on some stuff.
Nice. Yeah,
Love
you
y'all.
got-
Love you too.
Yeah.
You have a good night.